Hello, hello. This is Stupid Trader, and today we are hunting Tempered Rathalos by request. All my gear and decorations will be covered at the end of the video, like I usually try to do, but sometimes I very much forget. I'm doing a bit of post-commentary here to just kind of get my feet back in the swing of things. But Rathalos, the original flagship wyvern of the Monster Hunter franchise, and probably the most OG player's first really big skill block in Monster Hunter Freedom, and then as well as Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. Rathalos was kind of the first big boy you really went up against. While Rathalos isn't my favorite hunt in the world, mainly because he's so airborne, it is a major nostalgia factor for me, and will probably always be one of my preferred and more comfortable hunts, just because it's been so many years of hunting this same creature. One thing that I have noticed with watching this back is that I tend to be really roll happy in my hunts, and the rolls that I do make tend to just be early. And even with Evade Window 3, I am just getting hit by the back ends of moves after my invulnerability window has already ended, which is something that I need to work on, and seems to be like already ingrained into my muscle memory, and is getting me hit a lot, and would probably be worth fixing for improved speeds in other hunts. I'm still using my Paralysis Ardean hammer here because it's the only hammer I have that's really good when it comes to Ardean rolls. It's not perfect, but I made a blast hammer and didn't roll sharpness, and it feels pretty unusable without having at least one sharpness roll on it. I think I want a all attack Ardean with a sharpness roll to play around with. Ideally, it would be a blast hammer, just to not really abuse the paralysis as much as I am, because with this being a series about me trying to get better at Monster Hunter, I feel like interacting with the monster is how you get better, and not just getting a free opportunity from a semi-RNG. Well, it's not even semi-RNG. There's no real RNG involved, but a proc happening from a status and purely getting free damage off without having to buy the space for it. Speaking of things I'm not quite sure about, I feel really conflicted about the Sacred and just having a free, get out of jail free card at any moment in time. Just being able to spam the Sacred button and making distance and having a free opportunity to sharpen, as well as a free heal opportunity without any risk, I think makes this game feel a lot easier than it really should be. I try to not use it so much because it is such an easy get out of jail free card, but it is very difficult to not just hit the tab button and accidentally get on, especially with me running a no palico, no mantle. I do think the Sacred is one of the biggest, most busted options that you have in this game. Speaking of solo mode runs, for anyone who doesn't understand them, it is generally agreed upon that it's no palico, no mantles, no environmentals, and then minimal slinger usage. It's kind of a watered down version of a TA rule, where the time attack rules get very strict on what you can and cannot do. It's not quite going as far as disallowing you from doing a drop-in start, for example. This run kind of follows the solo rules, but there are instances later on where monsters do come in and interfere with the fight, which is aggravating, but hey, it's a big part of the game and it's really, really hard to avoid, which is slightly frustrating. Speaking of which, vine traps, the ultimate troll. I didn't set it, but the Rathalos sure got caught in it. And here, I thought that the Rathalos was going to fly away because I wasn't looking at my map and called my Sacred to go and chase him, but little did I know he turned around and tried to burn my ass. And so I wasted a bunch of time trying to dismount after mounting up and missed out on a good bit of damage that I had no reason missing out. This is also the first time that I've seen Rathalos use that double fire sequence there, like where he sweeps the fire across the ground on one direction twice in a row. I usually see it happen once and then usually he'll come back and land, but in this instance he decided to go for it twice. Thankfully I don't get hit because I recognized what was happening, but it freaked me out during an instance number 2 of me messing up solo rules. I hit the flash bugs when I was trying to sneak attack the Rathalos. I did this whole 3 attempts to record this run because he always comes to this spot and always lands directly on them, and all 3 times I don't manage to get the sneak attack, but do manage to hit the flash bugs, even when the sneak attack prompt is the one that is showing. Also, what is this game with making you hunt things in really, really tight spaces? With Hammer, like, I'm trying to stay close, but I want the ability to maneuver completely around the target, and the fact of the matter is, if I play that edge there, then I am getting hit, or I am going over the side, and this run is way, way slower for it. Offsets. The coolest addition to the game by far, to me. Being able to get comfortable with offsets is what I think optimal hammer play for me is going to look like. Being able to just counter whatever a monster is doing and buffer through any of their attacks is like the biggest dopamine hit possible. And so the aggressive, like, triple attack into an offset of a hit is probably the way I'm going to go forward with how I play the hammer, as opposed to a more charge-based reactive playstyle. Plus it helps that the offset led into probably the hardest punish possible by hammer, where you go and offset an attack which goes into a paralysis and then a stun off of the back end of the paralysis. It's just so much damage that is not possible without the offset, but also not possible without abusing a paralysis weapon in this game. At this stage, I could have captured the Rathalos, and that would have made this around an 820 or so hunt, but I'm generally not trying to capture a Rathalos, or any creature at that, unless I'm going purely for time. Here, I really just wanted to see how long it would take me to go in for the kill on this run. And as we're getting late in this hunt, I would be amiss to not beg for favor. If you've made it this far, hey, you obviously are interested in what I'm posting. Please like, possibly subscribe. This is generally the type of content that I will be consistently posting, and I would really appreciate any comments, whether they're constructive or a request for another hunt. This is fun to do. I've also come to realize that as I get later into hunts, I tend to really struggle with dodging very basic patterns that I've been dealing with throughout the hunt. And there's no real reason. It's just, I guess, laziness and or fatigue towards the end of a hunt where I've been focused for the 5 to 10 minutes and there's a visual that's saying that the creature is almost dead, and so I just play it really, really lazy. Being able to fly swat Rathalos out of the sky also is just so much dopamine. You would think that I would be able to avoid the first charge that happens immediately afterwards, but maybe my expectations are a bit high for myself because I definitely just eat it immediately. And here is where I get the big sad, because my Rathalos walks straight into a Doshagama, and the Doshagama puts him on the ground and just gives me the free kill, which ends the hunt pretty much on the spot. There's pretty much nothing that I could have done to prevent this other than capturing the Rathalos earlier, but seeing as I wanted to get the kill, there's not really anything I could have done here. The hunt ended up being a 1051, which in my opinion is a lot slower than it should have been, but it was a 5-star tempered Rathalos, so I'm not too unhappy about it. In talking gear, I'm running 4-piece gore with pretty much the meta set. I haven't been running the meta set, so running the meta was a choice just to see how the standard really goes with the build that I had made for myself and being able to compare and contrast them. And for anyone who's made it this far, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.